Welcome to the Stoic Responder Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Healy. As a special agent who spent more than 15 years conducting large-scale fraud, money laundering, and public corruption investigations, Stoic philosophy provided a mindset edge that became the foundation of my professional success. My mission today is to share those same ancient mindset lessons with you so that you can turn obstacles into opportunities and adversity into advantage. Time to muster up. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoic Responder Podcast. This is episode 85, Banquet or Bacchanal. That's a fun word, huh? Bacchanal? Anyway, we're going to get into what a Bacchanal is versus what a banquet is and a whole bunch of other stuff today. So before we get started, let me tell you about my favorite 501c3, as I always do. That, of course, is the Overwatch Collective. It's a nonprofit and podcast funding therapy sessions and supporting mental health initiatives for our first responders, our veterans, and their families. Check them out at theoverwatchcollective.com. Make a donation if you can. Purchase some of their sweet gear, because every time that you do that, you are supporting our law enforcement community by helping people who critically need it get therapy services anonymously and free of charge. Number two, let me give a quick shout out to Blue Badge Coffee Company, the people who manufactured and made my favorite sweatshirt that I'm wearing right now. Blue Badge Coffee Company, their mission is to provide the absolute best, highest quality premium coffee to their customers that their money can buy. They take a portion of each and every sale and donate to law enforcement agencies around our great nation to assist them in funding or maintaining their peer support and wellness programs. These kind of programs are the first thing to get cut when agencies defund police, but they are also crucial for the physical and mental well-being of hardworking officers in the law enforcement community. So let's support Blue Badge Coffee Company so they can continue to support our community by making a donation to fund these peer support and wellness programs. You can check them out at bluebadgecoffee.com. Get yourself one of these awesome sweatshirts. Get yourself a hat. Most importantly, get yourself some delicious, premium, high quality, made to order Blue Badge Coffee Company coffee. All right. I got a long Epictetus quote to start you out. As I said, the title of this episode is Banquet or Bacchanal. Let me start you out with an Epictetus quote. Remember that you ought to behave in life as you would at a banquet. As something is being passed around, it comes to you. Stretch out your hand. Take a portion of it politely. It passes on. Do not detain it. Or if it has not come to you yet, do not project your desire to meet it, but wait until it comes in front of you. So act toward children, so act toward a wife, so act toward office, so act toward wealth. All right, so banquets. We're talking Thanksgiving table. This is what I'm picturing. Obviously, Epictetus didn't celebrate Thanksgiving, but let's say that they're at a Roman banquet. He's sitting around the table, and you've got, people passing the potatoes, the yams, the turkey, the gravy, right? You're not just going to hold on to all those mashed potatoes and just dig your spoon in and start eating them. I would love to. My 10-year-old absolutely would do that. Most people wouldn't, though, right? You're gonna take a portion. You're gonna pass it along. You're not going to be greedy about it. You're not going to take all of it. You're not going to detain it, as Epictetus says. You're not going to cut the line. You go to a buffet, an all-you-could-eat buffet. You're not going to go running up to the front of the line, the roast beef carving station, and elbow everyone out of the way and just grab that slab of meat and throw it on your plate. That would be out of line, right? Life has certain rules, is what he's saying there. And we should behave as we would at a banquet, as we would at a buffet. We take our portion of what is for us, and we leave the rest. We don't try to take everything. When I read this quote, I think a lot about the game Hungry, Hungry Hippos. My kids have this game. They still love to play it. For those of you who don't know what it is or don't remember it, it has 4 colorful plastic hippopotami. How you like that? Hippopotami. That is the plural of hippopotamus. And these plastic hippopotami, I'm going to say it as many times as I can. These plastic hippopotami are engaged in a frantic marble gobbling bacchanal, right? Bacchanal meaning the kind of Roman feasts that were famous for being just this rich foods, and oftentimes there were orgies involved and the pouring of wine, and it was the high class of Roman society. And they had rather famously, vomitoriums where, you were eating so much and gorging yourself so much that you needed to find a place to throw up, and they did, so they could eat and gorge more and stuff their faces with more wine and rich foods and, engage in whatever carnal desires that they had. And that is a bacchanal. That is the idea of just this like free-for-all, this absolute free-for-all. Kind of the Epstein Island sort of nonsense of the Roman era, right? And it reminds me of Hungry, Hungry Hippos. It reminds me of what so many people do in this life, not in that sense, not in the Bacchanal sense or in the Epstein case in the criminal sense, but just in the way that they are constantly craving more and more and more and more and more. I need more and more and more and more. You read the serving size on a bag of chips, and most people have eaten more than the serving size before they decide if they even want a bag of chips, right? They're just sitting there, just shoving their hand in and stuffing their face like those hungry, hungry hippos. See, we say hungry hippos, and I actually think that craving hippos would be a more appropriate title. I know, alliteration, all that stuff, I get it. Hungry hippos makes sense. But they're not actually hungry. They're compulsive. They're just compulsively eating, like so many people do. And there is a difference between hunger and craving. Hunger is like thirst. It's a biological, physical need. It's our body telling us something. It's our body telling us, hey, you have to sustain me. I need food. I need sustenance. I need, in the case of thirst, I need liquid. I need sustenance. Craving is not that. Craving is an emotional and psychological reaction, not a physical reaction. One, the physical reaction, that's body-driven. One, the psychological reaction, that is head-driven. Hunger and craving are not the same thing. Hunger is body-driven, craving is head-driven. What Epictetus is encouraging us to do is to know the difference and to avoid acting like the hungry, hungry hippos, to avoid acting like the jackass at the buffet who's grabbing all the lobster claws and all the... I worked at a buffet when I was a kid, so this is what I'm picturing in my head. is some like tourist from Quebec going up to the buffet at the Dunstan Schoolhouse restaurant and getting all of the lobster tails, all of the prime rib, and just being a glutton, right? What Epictetus is telling us is don't be that guy. But he's not necessarily making the allegory with food. It's about everything. It's about children, about how we are with our children, how we are with our wife, how we are at work, how we are in our station in life, how we are towards wealth. Don't act like an asshole. He just says it in a much more poetic way. What he's saying is there's a difference. We can't act like those frantic, hungry, hungry hippo toys, mindlessly cramming more and more and more into our gaping yaws. When we cling to fleeting moments, when we yearn for what has not yet arrived, when we operate without self-control, when we don't have any governor on our actions, we are craving. Instead, we should be present. We should be patient, without undue attachment, without expectation, without desire for more. We should be happy with those things that we have and be content in the present moment as much as we can. Hunger will come, but we don't have to crave and yearn for these other things, these bigger things. We don't have to take more than what is ours. Now, this isn't like me being anti-capitalist or socialist or anything. I own businesses. We are always trying to find more clients and make money and grow market share. That's not the same thing. It's not about like, don't go out and get what's yours. Don't try. Just wait for the world to come to you. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, don't be constantly overlooking the present moment, yearning for what is right there down the road. Be present. Be satisfied. Because you're never satisfied if you are always yearning, if you are always craving. You should have goals. You should have aspirations. What you shouldn't have is this mechanical desire to constantly get the next thing and add and add and add and add and add. Again, this principle extends beyond the dinner table, various aspects of life, our relationships, our work, our wealth, whether we're interacting with our loved ones, whether we're navigating professional responsibilities, whether we're managing our finances. We should approach each situation rooted in grace, rooted in discipline, rooted in moderation, instead of in gluttony, instead of frantic expectation. That's what he's trying to tell us. In other words, as I said, don't be an asshole. So, get out your Big Chief notebook, get out your pen, get out your paper, write this down. Am I hungry or am I craving? I want you to think about something in your life that you just don't feel satisfied about. And is it because you are hungry? You need to meet a basic need. You need to satisfy a basic need. Or are you craving? Are you a glutton? Are you pushing past and not being grateful, not dealing with the current situation in grace? Are you not dealing with discipline? Do you have no self-control? That's when you are craving. So ask yourself that. And in those moments when you're not sure, it's a good time to revisit this podcast episode and re-ask yourself that same question. All right, folks, we made it through another week. I'll be back with 4 episodes next week. Until then, if there's a few things that you can do to support this podcast, number one, you can pick up a copy of my book if you haven't already done so. It is called In Valor, 365 Stoic Meditations for First Responders. It's available on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, and anywhere you get your books. It's available on Kindle and Nook for instant download right now, this very moment. You can get the paperback edition on Amazon. If you do get the book on Amazon or have gotten the book on Amazon, do me a huge favor. Leave it a 5-star review if you would. It helps other people find it, helps other people get familiar with this philosophy that can help you so much in your daily life. This book is great because it provides you quotes, contextualization that's directly relatable to our modern lives. And it's going to give you daily journal prompts, action items, and other things that are going to help you integrate these ancient lessons into your modern life. It's awesome. It takes you a couple minutes a day to get your head right. Highly recommend you pick it up. And it's not just because I'm the author. I read it too, and I'm like, man, whoever wrote this did a good job. If you're enjoying the podcast, you can also get these episodes delivered directly to your email by going over to the Substack page, thestoicresponder.substack.com. Over there, you can view all of our past episodes and newsletters, and you can get them delivered directly into your email. I won't spam you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just going to send you these episodes so they're easy to find. You can listen to them and download them right there on the app. And finally, the easiest thing that you can do to support this podcast is to like, share, and subscribe it. Let other people know you're listening to it so that they can find out a little bit about Stoicism as well. Thanks so much for listening this week, folks. Get out there, live your lives with valor, and until next time, you are out of roll. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, like, rate, and share this podcast so that we can spread the benefits of Stoicism to other first responders. It will only take you a few moments, but it can help us tremendously. Until next time, out of roll.